Alright, so we got two segments for this video. The first segment is going to be me talking about my predictions and whether I got them right for Survivor Series 2020. And the second segment is going to be me talking about the Undertaker's farewell thing. So I'm going based off of memory, so I apologize for not taking any notes. Very scuffed, I know. First thing we're going to talk about is the first match. Of course, the men's Survivor Series match, which I was surprised to see. And it was a clean sweep for Raw. I said Raw would win, but I did not think it was going to be a clean sweep. I thought Keith Lee and maybe Matt Riddle could have been the sole survivors for the match. No, SmackDown just got their ass whooped. And the reason why they did has to do with something later on, so I'm fine with that. Initially, I was like, why? That was really stupid. But I see why they did it now. They were building to something else later on. Okay, that's fine. The match was solid. I really feel like Otis, should have gotten elimination just because he had like that big push, and they kind of hyped him up when he finally got tagged in. Then he just kind of did nothing, Like they tried to make SmackDown look strong without getting the elimination. It was like they're all great individuals, but they're not a great team. Since AJ Styles has been trying to build the Raw team for so long, now they're better equipped for this matchup. I had to cut some of that out because my dog was barking. So sorry if it sounds like it was a little off. Anyways, I also think they're probably gonna do like a 5-man match, and maybe it'll be like the winner of this one faces Drew McIntyre for the championship at TLC. Maybe I could see that happening. I don't know for sure. Moving on, I think the next match was Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. No, it was a tag team matchup. It was the Street Profits versus the New Day. I would say this is probably the second best match of the night because we hadn't seen it before, number one. And number two was it was some good storytelling, I think, because it really did seem like a passing of the torch if you kind of watch how the match was going and all that. Like the Street Profits had to turn things up a bit, and do some moves we hadn't seen them do before as a team to come out on top. And that frog splash from Montez was fucking incredible. Or freaking Kofi, or him kicking out of the midnight hour was cool. Like just everything about it was pretty cool. Just how many near falls they had in that matchup. I can't remember, but I think Kofi kicked out of the frog splash. I'm not sure. If he did kick out of it, awesome. If he didn't, whatever. Because I like that they're still keeping in mind that he's a former WWE champion. He shouldn't be getting just pinned in tag matches or whatever. You know what I mean? That they're still keeping that in mind. He's not burying people or whatever. He's not getting buried. He's being used to elevate other talent around him, which is good. I like that. The next match, I think... Oh, I got that prediction right, by the way. I got all of them right except for one matchup, apparently, which sucks. Anyways, Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley. Now, this is kind of what I expected. I didn't think it was going to be much of a fight. I expected it to be Bobby Lashley is probably going to dominate Sami Zayn. If he doesn't dominate him, Sami will be very cunning and try to set up stuff, but never really get too much going for him. I would have liked maybe a spot where it looked like Sami was going to win, because from what I watched, it never seemed like he really had a chance. I mean, the Hurt Business was always ringside. He tried to get himself trying to get Bobby disqualified. He did what he could. He's being a sniveling heel. I would have liked it if all the people that the Hurt Business has dealt with kind of came back to hunt them. Maybe not all of them. Maybe just what are they called? Retribution. I already forgot their name. That's not good. What if they came out ringside and they started attacking the Hurt Business? Bobby's distracted by what's going on, and then he gets hit with a haluva kick into a Blue Thunder Bomb, but he kicks out of it, and then he beats Sami Zayn. Just like some sort of near fall like that, because it just made Sami look just like a punk. But I get it. That's his character. That's fine. But when he fought Daniel Bryan, didn't realize, he was running a lot. But when he finally got into it, he finally came back at him. It didn't seem like a punk. Or in the freaking ladder matchup, he just seemed smart rather than a coward. I would like it if he came off as a coward, but he kind of outsmarts his opponents to beat them. But I guess it didn't really work here. I don't know. Just the match felt weird, man. I feel like he could have done more. Mostly because I wanted Sami to win. But that's fine. Bobby wins. That's cool. That's who I predicted, by the way. The next match, I think this might have been, it might have been Asuka and Sasha, right? Was it? Why do I feel like I'm missing a match? Maybe not. maybe I'm not missing a match. I'm gonna just assume it was Asuka and Sasha. So I thought Asuka was going to win because Asuka hadn't really been doing anything, right? So it could have been a really nice moment for her to win this matchup and then, kind of build on from after that. But no, they didn't do that at all here. She lost. It was a competitive matchup back and forth, as their matches usually are. And I think that was kind of the problem here, at least in my opinion. I feel like it could have been more so Sasha needs to beat Asuka, right? Because she hasn't beaten her before. So every time she's like tries to go for something, Asuka just counters. Every time. She doesn't have to be a heel. She's just dominant because she's beaten Sasha before. And then Sasha finally catches her with, I don't know, a roll up, a really nice move or whatever. Maybe she gets some offense and slowly builds herself back into the matchup. I don't know. I feel like just having her win with a roll up in a competitive matchup was kind of like, I don't want to say it's predictable because I predicted the wrong match, but it was like they could have done a little bit more with this match, right? Still, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad match at all. It's just I feel like they could have done more here. I think now the next match, I think that it has to be the Women's Survivor Series match. And this match is interesting. It was pretty good. I liked it. There was like a superplex to the floor spot, which is crazy, with Peyton Royce and Bayley, I think. She pinned Bayley with Deja Vu. That was cool. It was like they were going back and forth. It was really close, neck and neck throughout the duration of the match. Shayna in the end, or no, in the middle of the match somewhere, Lana was in the ring and they told her that she couldn't be in the ring because she's like useless. No one wants her there or whatever. So she just stood on the steps. And she stood on the steps the entire match after being told that. Shayna tried to choke out Bianca Belair, who I thought was going to be the sole survivor and win the damn thing. This has actually got 2 matches wrong. Yeah, I got 2 matches wrong. Alright, whatever. Anyways, I was thinking, okay, they're going to have her be the sole survivor. Maybe she'll get rid of Nia and Shayna. Maybe Lana will interfere. Nope. She gets rid of Shayna because Shayna gets herself disqualified by choking out Bianca Belair, who passes out on the ropes. Then they try to put her through the announce table to get her counted out, but she escapes and she's like desperately trying to get back in the ring, but Nia won't let up on her. So Nia and Bianca Belair both get counted out, and Lana is the last person in the matchup, making her the sole survivor. I thought that was actually kind of cool that they did that. But what do they do from here? They're gonna have Asuka versus Lana again, and maybe just kind of have her build like a string of luck, and then give her a title match, maybe in a ladder match. And it's like, oh, is she gonna get lucky again and win the ladder match? And then she doesn't, or she does maybe. I don't want Asuka to lose her title to Lana. I really, really don't. But would I be surprised if they did that? I don't want that at all. I would like it though if they built it as if she could definitely win by getting lucky, and then having Asuka win anyway. I think that could be really cool if they do that. They're probably not going to though. They're probably going to do something with it. I don't know. I don't think they would just give her this Soul Survivor thing and then just drop it like they did to Ziggler. Anyways, what would be our next match? What would be our next match? I think this is the main event. Correct? Yeah. Drew versus Roman Reigns. This was the best match of the night in my opinion. It was awesome. In my opinion, I feel like it had a slow start, but it was doing what they usually do in these matches, where it's like, you know, a big title match or a big champ versus champion match. Old school, they're kind of like slow build, and then towards the middle it picks up, and then towards the end it gets really, really crazy, and then it ends. So I liked how once Drew hit him with a chop, then Roman started lighting him up, and he started going back and forth, and it turned into a fight. And it looked like it wasn't Drew was an underdog. It was that Drew was a different type of competitor that Roman had faced before. It was kind of like he was fighting himself, because he always talks about how Drew, or during the build-up, he was talking about how Drew is the secondary champion. He's the guy they call when Roman's not here. And then he said, you're the right person, the right place at the wrong time, kind of like what Paul Heyman said about Roman. And then they had this whole story here where it was Drew overcoming the odds. He gets hit with a spear, he kicks out. He gets put through a barricade with a spear, kicks out of that, kicks out of another spear, hits his finish, almost wins, but hits the referee. It's kind of just like how like Roman would lose, you know. And then Then they have him lose because Jey Uso comes out because he actually got banished from the family after losing in the Survivor Series match. Roman was pissed off about that, right? So it was like, oh, your team lost because they didn't respect you, because they didn't fear you. If they don't fear you and they don't respect you, they don't respect me, they don't respect our family. You can't be here. We don't have time for losers. Jey tries to get his redemption by coming out and super kicking Drew into a spear from Roman, and then Roman would win the match. Oh no, it was a guillotine choke. He locked him in the guillotine choke and tapped Drew out. Well, he didn't tap him out. He choked him out. That was cool. That was really cool. I would not mind at all if they go into TLC and they have Roman versus Drew in a rematch. But they're not going to do that. I think the next match is going to be Daniel Bryan versus Roman at TLC. I guess in a TLC match? Maybe? I don't see what else they would do. Oh, they might do a tables match because he's the head of the table. If they're going to do a tables match, and don't get me wrong, tables matches are cool, right? But I'm tired of seeing one table spot or a table spot with someone not involved. I want to see a best 2 out of 3 tables match. If they're going to do tables matches, do it that way. I think that's so much better, because imagine if they try to put someone through a table and the table breaks too soon. Can't have that. Can't have that. Now, it's possible that it can happen on the second go around, but at least we get a good table spot in the match. You know, if anything goes wrong, we still got at least one good table spot. Now, if all 3 of them break or whatever by accident, then somebody needs to be fired. But anyways, overall, I like Survivor Series. I actually did not mind it one bit. I don't know if it was like, you know, super great or spectacular, but I like that every match actually had a finish. I don't like when there's not an actual finish on a big pay-per-view or in a main event. I don't think anybody does. So I'm glad that there was, you know, some conclusions to these storylines, or multiple conclusions to storylines that we had in this pay-per-view. And my favorite match was Roman versus Drew. Now on to Undertaker. So I watched, I think the first match I can remember watching was Tajiri versus Rob Van Dam, and I think in a hardcore matchup, and Van Dam did the Van Terminator, but not off the ropes. He like ran and did it, and that was like my first fill with wrestling that I can remember. And then I got into Kane. That was my favorite wrestler for a bit, and then his brother, the Undertaker, who I thought was inferior to Kane, because I believe the version of Undertaker that I initially saw was the Undertaker with the blue jacket, the American Badass Undertaker, before he was on the motorcycle. Or, no, he was on the motorcycle. He was just kind of out of shape or whatever. I just didn't care for him, right? I didn't care for that version of Undertaker yet. Then when he got on the motorcycle and he had the beanie, that was my dude. I was like, this motherfucker is cool. I was like, this guy is my guy. All day, every day. I think, though, he wasn't my favorite wrestler still yet. I think my favorite at that time was Chris Jericho. I think so. Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam were my dudes at that time. And then I want to say once he came back as a Phenom against Randy Orton, that's when, is that the correct timeline? 23 is 22. 21 is definitely Randy Orton. WrestleMania 20 might have been Ric Flair. I want to say, yeah, when he was going at it with Randy Orton is when he became one of my all-time favorites. And I think around the same time, I had just found out about AJ Styles. So it was like them two going neck and neck, and then like a few years later, it was like Kana or Asuka as one of my favorites as well. Those are like my top 3. But anyways, yeah, like it's a lot of my childhood memories. I think my favorite thing that I got from Undertaker watching, it wasn't the Boneyard match. That's like what my brain jumped to immediately. No, it was this whole factor of him being so unique compared to everybody else on the roster. I liked having their, variety. There were a lot of people who like blend in together to me, and I didn't want them to. I didn't like, well, why does everyone have to wear trunks all the time? Why does everybody have to have the entrance and the talking trash and blah, blah, blah? And Undertaker was just like, I'm undead, bro. I kill you. I'm like, all right, bet. It's my dude. That's why I like Kane too, because he had the firepower. They just stood out so much from everyone else that I couldn't help but like him, you know? My favorite Undertaker match all time is probably, it's either him versus Shawn or at 25, or Undertaker versus damn, there was another good one that I'm not remembering, so I guess I got to go with him versus Shawn. The Boneyard match is cool. Man, I feel like there's a bunch of Undertaker matches that I actually really like that I'm not remembering. Oh, him versus Edge was another one that I liked a lot at WrestleMania 24. It's just a lot of his, I like the streak concept. I thought that when it got broken or whatever, I was really upset about that. I thought that it should have never been broken. But when it was broken, I was like, okay, well, I guess Undertaker's done. And then he wrestled again the very next year. I was like, it doesn't matter anymore, you know? It doesn't really matter anymore because you lost. It's over. Like, if he was gonna, I guess he thought it should break at 30, and maybe he was just gonna end it right there, but he just couldn't stay away because I guess he just wasn't satisfied with himself, and he was trying to find something that he could be satisfied with before he leaves. I think that's the same thing that a lot of people are going through that do entertaining stuff, whether it be on YouTube or Twitch or movies or whatever. They can't really leave their profession, not because of their passion, but they want to have closure, and he couldn't really get that until he got this Boneyard match that was received so well by so many. I think there were some who didn't like it, but I didn't know anybody who didn't, right? Whereas his match with Bray Wyatt was like, he should have fought Sting. When he faced Roman, it was like, I mean, he already lost. Why is he fighting again? When he fought Shane, it's like, it doesn't really matter. He already lost, you know? But when he faced AJ Styles, it was just a cool concept. What is a Boneyard match? What is he talking about? And then it happened, and you're like, oh, shit. They need to do more of these cinematic matches because I like this, you know? Maybe not everybody. That was my feeling, though, going into it. But anyways, thanks, Taker. That was actually really cool. I didn't really like the farewell too much. It was cool. Just it was kind of cringe at certain points, but it was fine. I'll settle. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.